straight through. 5 eliminations found for them. Again, it's not done for Alpha 7 yet. Dangerous push from S2G, but they make it. No one takes too many shots over towards them. They waited enough time. There wasn't enough firepower, enough guns looking at them. So when they made that approach, they made it by the skin of their teeth, but it was still quite reliable.
6 eliminations for S2G and all 4 of them alive. 9th place for DRS and now Alpha 7 with 5 eliminations, all 4 of them alive, will take up the mantle of the closest chaser in this game to S2G. Shots from top over towards Mafioso as he hides behind the wheels, trying to stay hidden. The Axel ricocheting the bullets away. Mythic hops on into the pickup there. And will be alive for the time being, but there's a nade from Geek Fam and a second as well on the knock from the nade. It's beautiful. Micah wants to keep it on pouring, and Alpha 7 being torn apart here. Godlike Stalwart might be able to step up to the plate as the next closest competitor to S2G's top spot. The nades do not stop, and Geek Fam rack up 5 elimination points already, with 1 more soon to follow. That's 6.
Refusing to allow anyone from Alpha 7 to survive this one. Just Carrillo remaining now, looking for those placement points in the smoke, but outside, the blue will push him into open ground. It's unlikely that Carrillo stays alive for much longer. Micah will put him to bed.
Damn rude, actually, the one to steal that one away. It looked like Mike had it all lined up, but this is such excellent news for Turkish fans. S2G with 4 teams directly beneath them, all wiped out. They have 4 players alive. They have 6 eliminations on this game so far. They are in a prime spot to take a huge game, so vitally important at this stage.
No matter where they drop out now, I'd say it's a good profit on the game. Even 7th place right now would not be bad for them. For 4 AM, it's going to be pretty rough to profit on top of what they've earned this game anyway. And coming into Miramar's Game 5, I said this earlier today and yesterday, that for S2G, that's a map where they do excel. We saw it on the first Miramar of the day already, and having that in the back pocket for Game 5, this is a place where you can bump up even more points. And 4AM really was suffering on that last Miramar. They didn't get very far. They looked a little bit lost. So for S2G, I'm really excited to see what they can do here. In our second to last angle, to pump up some big points here to secure their position at the top of the table.
Put around 2 players, Wolves 2 as well. If they fall, that would put you in 5th place, which is desirable for everyone, other than, of course, those 2 teams, but we'll see what can be done. Vampire crunching in a little bit on that south side. They have got the 2 buildings there, and they're pushing in towards Kengzo. DBS in hand for Schwepp, and Fluke actually caught out by Godlike Stalwart, having some angles there to play with. Nova are clashing with S2G in the meantime, but Razy has some cover to play with. Backs off the high angle peak, but will be very resible for S2G as they play a little small 2-2 split. Nova not wanting to push too far out, but they'll have to regroup and push into the town if they want to keep it on going on that northern side.
S2G, Kelsey very low, Wolves have to move forward. Zone 7 right now, 2 more to go, close to Zone 8. Nova swings round towards some compounds very close towards S2G's position. Very clumped up, so a few grenades could spell doom for S2G. Wonder at this point, how many does Nova still have remaining?
The only Malaysian team here, Geek Fam, have got 9 eliminations now, and it's a team that has fragged out before. See if they can do anything with the 4 players they have on the north side, but Micah does go down. Potential trouble there. Vampire seen, and Godlike Stalwart have been so troublesome on this south flank of Pmgc. An urban finish, we haven't seen it so far. But now Nova, a big test for S2G. Frozen will fall first. The burn from Hamzy is good. It isolates the room and looks to put pressure on Jimmy and Order, one of whom has to leave. Jimmy will be the one to elect to do so. Hops out, and Paraboy on the corner being isolated. There's another player in the kitchen though, and Hamzy could be caught broadside, but he has backup to deal with the threat. Order falls, and now it's just Paraboy at the back. Not too much HP, but S2G have lost 2 players in the midst of the fray. Silas wants the flushes. They want to confirm these points with 8 eliminations. They'll take what they can get. 6 teams remain. remain, and Paraboy backs off with the burn. S2G, 3 alive, 8 eliminations racked up to 10. They are on double digits already, and with 5 teams remaining, they have guaranteed a bumper game to see themselves safer towards the top.
This is going to be so hard to chase in the next 2 games, regardless of what happens going forward. For S2G, 3 players still going outside the circle now, though. If they can conclude this game in a top 3, the teams underneath them are going to be quaking in their boots because that trophy is going to look so far away. Might need to go to Specsavers just to even have a hope at seeing it.
Godlike Stalwart still have been looking to control so much of the ground here, but My Name P spooks him a little, unfortunately. Doesn't manage to get the better end of the deal. Top will get the flush as well. Kengzo upstairs, hiding in the attic. A monster in his own right. King Kengzo, we called him during the group stages for Buradam. See what he can get done here. Vampire nades over the top, laid into S2G. Silas out the window, escapes from punishment on that one, but that's a lot of damage sent in, and into the Molotov from Schwepp. Has to get burnt down on the cross. The smokes are there, sure. Now it's just 2 players for S2G. 5th place finish, not ideal, but they will take it. 10 eliminations, and it's a
as well, the back of that fantastic Sandhawk. Maybe looking for even more. They did say they wanted top 8 today. I told Sertani, get top 5.
He's taken that advice to heart.
He absolutely has here.
And imbued that confidence into his team as well.
A little late though, don't you think?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, really making me bite my fingernails here, man.
But we've seen how tight those points totals are, Blank, and anything can happen. A miracle run for Vampire from the bottom of the tables after match 3.
For Stalwart, maybe even. It's a real chance. I think for Stalwart, this is a big game for them, considering they were one of the closest chasers towards the top of the lobby. Over than Alpha 7, and they've still got 4 players going. They can rack up some big points here, John. And this is last zone now. This will push everyone in. Pika having this high ground position, as well as top, is so unbelievably beneficial for them. Anyone who goes onto this open ground, Pika and top, will be able to play off one another to hit them. So really, really good stuff. These smokes are so good, though, from GeekFam to get through. Kengzo as well, just blockaded into the attic.
Can't afford to go upstairs, though, as Mike is actually ticking away. I think he caught himself on fire. Didn't expect to finish that one out so quickly, but do so they will. 4 versus 4 versus 4. Urban finish in Pmgc. And the nades start to fly. Vampire with 4. Godlike Stalwart on the south side. Schwepp gets caught. U-High is good for 1. A high elimination game for GeekFam so far. Nades on in from Vampire towards the Godlike Stalwart line. Schwepp repositioned towards to go for the res from Fluke. And Nade not really going to punish it here, but Mike has already taken a lot of damage. Ravenclaw, high ground on the 2nd floor of the building. Snipes around the corner, sneaks back on in. Godlike Stalwart can start to move through in the back because GeekFam have been punished at the front.
No!
And action is going to start to tick away. Snipes the only one to fall on GeekFam. Micah has the nade, but floods out the front and right into the sightlines of Vampire. Godlike Stalwart getting cut down, and it's chaos. Another potentially on the cards now as Vampire move in. All 4 of them are alive and kicking, and it is a 2nd game on the cards. They just need the last, and it is Vampire Esports. They have hit their stride. Is it too late?
I don't know if it's too late, man. There's potential here for Vampire Esports. I mean, 2 chicken dinners back to back. If they continue on this rhythm, we say their performance fluctuates. Once it's high, it is so high. And it feels like we've hit midnight right now around Pennsylvania because they are going strong. I am worried for all these other teams because there is a beast in the night and it is hungry.
Flashing red. The eyes of the Vampire turn their gaze onto the lobby and strike fear into the hearts of many, I'm sure. PMWI champions, remember, this is a team that has power. We just have not seen it until these last 2 games.
Yeah.
And Blank, with those 2 games, they have done so much in this lobby that is so tightly packed on the points tables.
Absolutely. I like that, Schwepp's MVP. He got subbed out for 2 stops yesterday and was like, I am good, by the way. You won't be subbing me out again. That's just how this is. I mean, this was a couple of very, very good games from Vampire. I mean, that was not an easy finish on either. Sandhawk was a little bit easier, but again, good positioning. Here on Pmgc, that was the most chaotic fight I've seen in a long, long time. I have to give good props to Geek Fam, though, John. They did a wonderful job during that game. It was very hard. I felt like they were going to go down 10 seconds earlier. It was a marvel to see them live for that long in the first place.
They moved up to 90 points at the end of last game from Vampire. This time around, they're going to have put a massive dent in the leads ahead of them.
It would be funny if they were like
This
16th place to first place.
This is crazy. Not in one day, blank in 3 games. They've done it in 2 so far. They would need a third massive performance to try and cheer themselves up towards the top. And what a way it would be to be able to find our PMGC champions. But we're going to head back over to the analyst desk.
Just what is happening right now in the PMGC Grand Finals? We have Vampire coming in from very last place and making and working and pulling it off somehow with a back-to-back chicken dinner, and they will find themselves in a very good spot after that game. Is that the secret? Is that the secret behind pulling it back? You know, Schweppes being alive, finally, not dying in the early game.
I hope being alive is pretty important.
I guess so. Maybe that is the difference maker.
Real, I mean, we counted them out at the start of the day. We're like, yeah, when we stopped on Vamp, you and me both, and we were like, no, it's not going to be happening for them. Back to back chicken dinner, not just a small chicken dinner, like their big elimination chicken dinner, and that is looking so good for them. And as they said, John and Blank during the cast, could they be doing the impossible and going from 16th to first place in the last day? It's hard, but it could happen.
If they do it, I'll be more than happy. All right? But I don't think it's going to happen. All right? I just don't think it's going to happen.
Let's take a quick look at some of the highlights from that last game, because there are plenty. That was one hell of a game. Obviously, Pmgc being the main protagonist of match number 4 for today. And at that breach alone, I was cheering for Wolves because they finally pulled off to defend that breach. And unfortunately, there wasn't much afterwards.
I don't know, you call Pmgc the main protagonist, I'm going to call it antagonist right there. It was not fun for the teams to deal with, but Geek Fam, they were in a hot seat for a major portion of this game 7, and really what they were trying to do is clear all of the teams coming in from the eastern fields. The moment you do that, you can start fighting teams around you, but unfortunately, as you fight the teams on east, teams in Pmgc itself will become the major threat later on down the line.
Yeah, definitely a big game for Geek Fam, and I am just happy to see God Lifestyle War there towards the top and towards the end too. I mean, this team has been completely different, night and day difference from what we saw in day 1 to what we started seeing at the end of day 2. I think if they continue on this trend, you are gonna have to just wear that jersey.
That was really interesting, talking about God Like Soul especially. Let's take a quick look at match rankings. 25 points for Geek Fam, even though Vampire took on the chicken dinner with 23 points. Now we have God Like Soul in the 4th place. Really interesting that comeback, because until round 11, they did not have a single top 3 placement. Can you believe that?
What I'm actually interested on is S2G. I feel like they took massive advantage of the situation there with